Good afternoon.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Fine, and yourself?
I am good. I have a different number on the judgment than your fee.
Oh, let
We
me,
put 2,000 in,
oh,
so if you want to claim 2,000, we're not going to object.
well, it is going to charity, so if that's what you want to agree to. I was concerned when I realized that it was just a sore neck case for $11,000 settlement. I didn't want your insurance carrier to blow a gasket, so.
They blew a gasket over one last week where the ad litem charged $6,000 on a $5,000 settlement to a child and counseled the mother on an annuity and reduced the amount of money the child was getting out of the global settlement beyond what we agreed to at mediation so the mother could get more. I personally think that ad litem should not ever be an ad litem again.
Gosh, oh my.
I've seen it all. That was my moment. So I was like, $2,000. They're not going to care about that.
Okay, all right. Well, then I will submit an amended order because I want to have one that has the correct cause number. So,
Yeah, $2,000 will be probably the least expensive prove-up I've done in 2 years, just by way of explanation. I hope you had a good doctor's appointment. I'm so sorry, and I hope your trial went well. Sounds like you've had quite the week.
well, I got beat up twice.
Sorry.
The trial, the jury awarded more money than we expected, and then I went to the dermatologist. I have these little precancerous skin lesions, and so she went crazy with the liquid nitrogen.
Yep. You're going to look all scarred up here for a couple of days from now. So funny story, when I first started practicing law.
You were about to tell a funny story?
Oh, I was going to tell Mark that the funny story, first time I started, we never see each other. My very, very first hearing ever in a court was a minor prove-up that he taught me or showed me how to do a bazillion years ago. He won't even remember that, I know. But I do, because it was a first for me.
Okay, here's... Do we have a court reporter?
Esquire is supposed to, we retained Esquire to be here.
Okay.
Let me email my legal assistant.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, this is my third minor proof today, and I didn't sign any of the other two prior judgments, so hopefully this will go a lot better. You know, I don't understand this. I'll get on my high horse here real quick. I just had one where there were 3 minor children, and one was a 13-year-old, was perfectly in good shape before an accident where she was rear-ended as a passenger in a car, and was having neck problems, and she's still having neck problems. And I listened to the guard ad litem make his recommendation that this was a good settlement in the best interest of this minor. And I said, well, I don't think so. I mean, it's a 13-year-old that's got neck problems now, and her mom said, the doctor said she may have this for the rest of her life, you know, she hadn't really had a treatment in the last couple of months. I said, yeah, you need to take her back and get some kind of product. I want to hear something from a doctor that says what this is going to be like. And obviously it's going to have some impact on the settlement, I would think. But, you know, I would think a 13-year-old that was perfectly well before an accident and now is having chronic neck pain. I don't think that's a case that's really poised for a settlement agreement. I may be wrong, but we'll see what they do when they come back. I think Ms. Sharp was on one of the previous calls we were on.
She texted me, yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, they booked these Zoom calls back to back, so people come on and they're in a subsequent hearing. Okay.
Leslie just wants to be in court today is all.
Okay. So we're still waiting on the reporter?
We are, and I know we retained Esquire because I saw the confirmation come through,
Okay.
but I'm doing all my texting and calling and emailing.
Okay, we'll give them a few minutes.
My assistant confirmed with them this morning, gave them the link, told them how to log on, and she's calling them now to find out why they are not here.
You know, some
Yeah, they were on all the emails today and yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think the biggest confusion is every court has their own Zoom link. So, you know, since I support all the courts, then I have my own Zoom link, and sometimes people will go to the originating court Zoom link. So maybe that's where they are. So hopefully they'll find us.
I have faith in my assistant. She's good. She will hunt them down. I was recently in court using Teams.
Yeah. I do a lot of mock trial, high school mock trial stuff, and during COVID, that's all they used, and I just couldn't. I'm Team Zoom, I guess.
I think they're both about the same. I do apologize for this.
That's
I mean,
okay.
like I said, we put them on everything. We confirmed this morning. It looks like it happens.
And it's Friday afternoon, so maybe she took off early. Maybe she's trying to get a 3-day weekend in. If you don't think she's going to make it, I may be able to get someone to come in and do a record. But let's give her a few minutes.
Let's see if that's news.
I'm going to step off and make a phone call real quick.
Leslie, we're just waiting on the court reporter. FYI.
Okay.
All right, so Lisa, I'm looking at my documents here. Did you say you had already ordered the check from Hanover for my fee?
Have not.
Okay,
I just put the amount in the judgment because you sent me an email saying it will be between $1,000 and $2,000, and I went, $2,000 is fine, and that's the number I submitted when Judge Hurdle asked for the judgment to be emailed to him.
okay.
And I know Hanover has no problem with that.
Okay, so if you're okay with that, then I'm going to put my rate back to $250 where it started. And then I can't tell you that I wrote off 3.4 hours for sure, but I did write off at least a couple of hours, and then we're still going to run a little bit later today. So that would put in, if I put in 8 hours at $250 an hour, that comes to exactly $2,000.
Okay. Perfect.
And
Let me email you this link and then you can join.
It's all
us.
good. I'm just sitting here going, where's my court reporter over and over and over again? Followed by a text, this is a mess.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna email you the link right now, okay? And like I said, it'll only be about 10 or 15 minutes. All right, okay. Okay, I think I got us a reporter. I'm gonna invite her to our meeting.
Thank you so much, Judge.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, let me step away for a second here. Okay, I just sent her a link and she should join us shortly.
Hi, Judge Arnold, can you hear me?
I can, Ms. Quarles, thank you so much for joining us on such a quick request and notice.
Of course.
Okay, I think we have everybody here. Okay, let's go on the record. I promised her this was gonna be short. That's the only reason why she agreed to do this, so don't make me look bad. Okay, we're here on cause number DC 2301080. It's a case that's styled Leslie Sharp. I bet that's your court reporter. Okay.
Hello.
Well, looks like the original court reporter has shown up, Ms. Quarles, so we won't really need you, but I appreciate you stepping in, okay? Can you hear me, Ms. Quarles?
Sorry, what'd you say, Judge Arnold?
I said, it looks like the original court reporter has shown up, so we may not need you as we thought.
Okay, I can hear you now. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you a minute ago.
Okay, I was saying, it looks like the original court reporter has shown up, so we may not need you as we originally thought.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'm going to go back to working on my transcript.
All right, well, thank you for joining us anyway. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Well, it's good to know we've got somebody available who's willing to jump in when we need them, right?
It is.
Okay, Ms. Jefferson, are you ready?
Can I get everyone's name written down?
Okay, yeah, I was gonna do that. Let's just go on the record and now announce and now get everyone to tell you who they are and who they represent. Okay, we're here on cause number DC 2301080. This is a case that styled Leslie Sharp as next friend of a minor, JS, versus Shireen Asghari. And we're here to consider a proposed settlement agreement for the benefit of the minor. Will the parties please give their names and announcements for the record, please?
Megan David for the plaintiff, Leslie Sharp.
My name is Lisa Ball, and I'm here on behalf of the defendant, Shirin Asghari.
I'm Mark Stradley, the guardian ad litem appointed to represent the interests of the minor plaintiff, Joe Sharp III.
Okay, very good. Okay, Ms. Davis, are you prepared to call a witness?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
We call Leslie Sharp.
Okay, Sharp, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony and the information you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge and your ability?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You may proceed, Ms. Davis.
All right, please state your name for the court.
Leslie Sharp.
And what is your relation to Joe Sharp?
I'm his mother.
And I understand that Joe was involved, as were you, in a motor vehicle accident back on July the 6th of 2022, is that right?
Yes.
And Joe had some injuries out of that wreck.
Yes.
And he got treatment from several different medical providers for his injuries.
Yes.
He initially went to the hospital at Baylor, Dallas.
Yes.
And then after that, he had a treatment at a chiropractic office, and then had some MRIs as well. Is that right?
Yes.
And subsequently, we made a claim to recover damages, or you made a claim to recover damages on behalf of Joe.
Yes.
And we went through the process, and we have settled his claim for a total of $11,500.
Yes.
And I've gone over the settlement breakdown with you. And basically, after attorney's fees and reduced medical bills are paid back, that nets Joe a total of $3,588. Is that right?
Yes.
And you understand that money is going to go into the registry of the court for Joe to retrieve when he turns 18.
Yes.
And you understand this settlement for Joe is a full and final settlement.
Yes.
It's inclusive of all damages claimed, meaning you can't come back and get more at a later time.
Yes.
And by settling today, you're waiving your right for the case to be heard by either a judge or a jury.
Yes.
And we've been over the fact that if we did go to a trial, you could get more, less, zero. We just don't really know.
Yes.
And you understand that by settling the case for the $11,500, you can't go back to either the defendant or the defendant's insurance company requesting more money if something were to change as far as Joe's health in the future.
Yes.
And do you agree that this settlement is in the best interest of your son, Joe?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to accept the settlement?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, I'll pass the witness.
Thank you, Ms. Ball.
Yes, ma'am, my name is Lisa Ball. I represent Shirin Asghari in this matter. I have just a couple of quick additional questions. Are you voluntarily entering into this settlement agreement today,
Yes.
And you understand that after the settlement today, neither you nor your son will be able to bring another lawsuit against this defendant for the injuries that your son sustained in the incident. Is that correct?
Yes.
And your son is doing well today, is that correct?
Yes.
And you're asking the judge to approve this settlement, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Stradley.
May it please the court, Your Honor.
Sure.
So Ms. Sharp, you remember you and I and your attorney, Ms. David, met at her office about a month ago. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And I explained to you that the judge in this court had appointed me as the guardian ad litem to review this settlement and provide a report as to whether it is in the best interest of your son, Joe Sharp III.
Yes.
And so Judge Hurdle understands a little bit. There was an accident in July, I believe it was July of last year. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I understand that you were hurt and your daughter was hurt and have already settled, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
And so this settlement for $11,500 is just for your son, Joe Sharp III.
Yes.
Now, he's 14 years old currently, is that correct?
Yes.
And your attorney, Megan David, has reduced her fee to just 1/3 of the amount of that settlement.
Yes.
And there are some expenses, some case expenses, but she has already paid those out of your portion of the settlement, so those won't come out of Joe's. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, the medical bills, they do have to be paid, so that's why Joe is only going to get $3,833, because the rest of that, after attorney's fees, is going to go to pay off the medical bills. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And your attorney was able to get some good reductions on those, so the full amount is not having to be paid back.
Yes.
All right, so you've also told me that Joe, he was just kind of sore for a month, but he is fine now. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So he's fully recovered, correct?
Yes.
And so knowing all of this, do you believe that this is better to accept this settlement and is in Joe's best interest as a minor? And do you ask Judge Hurdle to approve it?
Yes and yes.
Okay, pass the witness.
Okay, any further questions of this witness?
No.
Okay, Mr. Strader, do you have a report and a recommendation for the court?
I do, Your Honor. I have reviewed all the relevant documents. I have had many email exchanges with the attorneys. I went to Ms. David's office about a month ago and met with Ms. David in person and with Ms. Sharp in person. Joe was in school where he should have been, and because of the minor nature of the injuries, I did not feel it was necessary to meet with him in person. I've reviewed the apportionment, the attorney's fees, and the expenses, and find them all to be in line. And Your Honor, I do recommend that the settlement be approved.
Okay. And do you have fees as a result of your duties as a guardian ad litem?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I have consulted with Ms. Ball, defense counsel, and we have agreed to a $2,000 fee, which is approximately 8 hours at $250 an hour.
Okay. Ms. Ball, any response?
We are in agreement, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. The court, having heard testimony of witnesses and having received the recommendation of the court of the guardian ad litem, is of the opinion that this settlement is in the best interest of this minor, and the court will approve the proposed judgment and also will approve the order for the payment of the guardian ad litem fee of $2,000. And I think, Mr. Strader, that goes to the Aboda Foundation. Is that still correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
And if I could point out, there was an initial order that I submitted, and I just submitted a revised order recently.
Okay, I'll look for the other one and I'll sign the revised order. Okay, anything further?
I believe that's it, Judge.
Well, thank you very much. You all have a good weekend. Be safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.